This screencast is about data loading and checking. So again, we start from scratch. First thing, we need to make sure we have our schedule module loaded. In my case, I have it here. If you don't have it, click on it and then click load. Make sure this green check mark is next to it. That's all we need from the plugin manager here. Now the project you can select either from this list, which displays all your current projects, or if you have too many of them, you can put your project to the favorites, and then you can select from there. So as one of the prerequisites for loading the data, you need to have all the graphical representation of your scheduling blocks inside of the blocks design file. So we're going to check it. We go to design data, we go to blocks, we open it, and we have all these layers over here with blocks as per every bench. I suggest that we select all of them. So we click on here, we press shift on the keyboard, we click on the last one, and then we right click on the mouse and we select edit. So thus we will make sure that all these layers are opened and they are opened for write. That's one of the prerequisites when loading the data into MindStar database. Depending on the amount of data you have and the speed of your computer, this might take a while. After they are all loaded, you would have a message download complete. The next thing we need to check is we will check on the random block whether the naming convention for the block suits to our needs. So I move the mouse to the black area, I click the right mouse button and click on details, and then I double click on any block. It gives me a name or information on my block, and here comes the name. Let me show you the part of the procedure. So this is an example name of the block where the first letter is describing which bit it is. The next four symbols are describing to what bench this block belongs. Then comes to what strip this block belongs, and then to what subdivision this block belongs. So in our case, the naming convention is suitable and we can use it further. It's the same naming convention that we use in our blocks for our blocks in our database. So I can cancel this and click on the black area to switch off the information mode. Now I will zoom out a little bit, and now we will try to load the reserves data for every single block. The reserves data has to be loaded in the schedule database. It cannot be brought directly from the reserves report. And the second prerequisite for data loading is that the reserves report is created for all these blocks and then converted into MindStar format using the functionality of either the block model or schedule module. As the result, we would have the file called, let me show you. On the C drive I have the projects, and here is the project that I'm using for schedule, and inside it, in the data folder, I should have a file, quite a big one, which is the converted reserves calculation from should start from load items. That's converted from the reserves report that you did before. Okay, we have the file and now we are going to load it. So how are we going to do it? First of all, we need to activate the schedule. So we go to schedule, we click on run, wait a little bit, and start windows appears and disappears, and now we are ready to go. You have a whole lot of new tools here. So we go to tools, we go to blocks, and we select the load option. Here we know that our text file with all the reserves data resides in the data folder inside of our project directory. The extension for it is dot, so we are selecting dot in the file extension. And after we define these two things, the drop down list for file name in the input panel would be populated. So if we scroll down, we will find this mb._c_s. As we are supposed to load the new uh, blocks, we are not going to update the existing ones as we don't have them, and we will say yes to load new blocks, and then we click OK. I've already loaded in my example, so I will not do that, but in your case you will need to click OK and wait until the blocks are loaded. So this is about loading the blocks, but how can we be sure that they all have been loaded correctly? Well, there are two procedures we have to run to check it. First of all, we will check whether all the blocks that we have in our card, in our blocks.dgn file, they exist in the database. To do that, we go to tools, blocks, not exists. Here we can type not exist. So what are we doing? Now we will check every single block from every single layer, and if this block exists in the database, meaning that in the database there is the record with the same name of this block, then everything is fine. But if for a particular block we don't find any reference in the database, this block would be taken from its current layer and it would be moved to the layer called not exist. So I would click OK, and I would put the screencast record on hold because it might take about 2-3 minutes. We are not going to wait for that. Okay, we are done. As you can see here, all blocks checked exist in the database, which means we did a good job. And for all the blocks that exist in card, that are present in card, there is a record in the database. Now we are going to make yet another check, which would do the opposite way. It would check if every record in the database has a block in card. So to do that, we go to tools, we go to blocks, and we say not in card. What this function does, it checks all the records in the database, and if a record or if a block does not exist in card, it would put its name into a text file, and I would suggest that we name this text file not in card. So again, we will click OK, and I will put the system on hold while the check is running because it's quite a lot of blocks and it might take some time. Okay, checking is finished, so completed and checked total of 29,657 blocks. 0 blocks are found not in card, which means that our design file and the database are completely synchronized and we can proceed with using these blocks. Alright, that's it for this screencast. See you in the following ones.